So water management, kind of a negative sounding term, is something we need to deal with. But I would say that we probably should think of this more as water management opportunities. And that's kind of the reason for this graphic here. I think the idea of the initial placement of a building and then the consideration for water runoff and its management, plenty of opportunities for us to imagine this kind of exterior environment that our building is creating actually just by placement. And then all of the interventions that we can do to improve that water management situation. And that goes with planting, retention ponds. In this case, it looks like there's a pond created some kind of a really decorative or ornate collection system. And so we have plenty of opportunity to see this idea of water management as a way to incorporate amenities into the site. And when we introduce water like this, we have negative issues, maybe mosquitoes and stagnant water, but we can also have, under the right management, the opportunity for natural transpiration, the evaporation of the water, and then a breeze actually working to cool the air as it passes over these water surfaces. So there's a lot of attention needs to be paid to the design for these issues, but there can be a lot of payoff and benefits in our site development according to that. And then also on a more negative issue of water management, or more of a concern, should I say, this is typical in the questions in the ARE exam, the idea of the management of water on terrain that might be steeply sloped in the placement of a building. So here we have like the idea of a bad example and a good example. Here we have a flat roof, or excuse me, a flat exposure of a building to the runoff. The terrain is not accommodating by creating a low point, is causing drainage into that center area. There's no way to shed the water off of it. And so the improved design to fix those, remedy that, is to change the shape of the topography so that there's a natural runoff or direction away from the building. And then this idea of also changing the shape of the building to redirect that water. So once again, an issue of water management and an opportunity to think about the crafting and development of your building to kind of address these issues and maybe find new opportunities in your construction. So this idea of being able to manage water and create a microclimate, this is vegetation on buildings from our textbook. I think this is probably really discourage this idea of growth into our brickwork. But there are many green walls now, and they have them, like we've already addressed, they have the ability to dampen sound. They introduce great smells, moisture into the air, a cooling effect, obviously a relaxing natural effect to the environment. So these, when we talk about, and also with rainwater management, the collection of the rainwater can be absorbed by the plants and then transpired off naturally into the environment. That natural evaporation cools the air, so there's all kinds of attendant positive effects when we think of vegetating surfaces. And so there's many ideas with green walls nowadays, frameworks and grids that can be attached to walls and other facades of buildings. And that brings that idea of this kind of total look at the development of the site. So we have these, the idea of the angled building for the potential for runoff, the idea of gardens, water retention. So, with all of that, we will, in many projects, be focused on coming up with a footprint and a basic appearance to our building. But all of that can be really strongly influenced by the site and the existing conditions, and then the management of all the things that will have to go along with that.